Hi everyone, in particular middle school, who this video is for. So I wanted to take a look at the week 2 assignment for middle school because it's hard. It's not things that we've even covered because you actually don't cover that stuff until the beginning of 8th grade in my class. So my 8th graders, you should have some idea about the symmetry between classical music and architecture because we kind of discussed that at the very beginning of the year. So just a little bit of a review for you guys. Now, those who are in 6th and 7th grade, you guys don't know anything about this yet because you didn't cover it yet. So don't worry too much about your answers because we didn't go over it. So I would like to kind of explain each question for you in this video. So if you take a look at your assignment, the first thing you're going to see are 2 pictures. Those are kind of important. You'll need to look back at those for the questions. After that, you're going to see a little text box, and it's going to have your essential question and your discussion question. Those aren't meant to be answered. They're just overarching question to think about during the lesson that you're doing. Now, in class, it's a lot easier to talk about the essential questions that are on our Common Board, but this is just like the Common Board for online learning. So if you look where it says student response, this is the box where you're going to put your answers. So you have to describe, interpret, and evaluate. Describe, just describe how the buildings look. If that question, don't think too much into it. It's not that hard. Just tell me how they look, okay? The next 2 questions are where it kind of gets hard because you don't know much about the classical period of music yet. We haven't talked about it. And like I said, the only ones that have talked about it in class has been the 8th grade. So if you are in 6th or 7th, these next 2 points are going to help you a lot. At least I hope so. And if you're still confused, just write that you're confused. It's okay if you don't get it. How might the structure of the 2 buildings pictured above be similar to the symmetrical musical forms of the classical period? Symmetry. Okay, symmetry, the same, both on either side. So in classical music, you're going to have things repeat, and they're going to be similar, and they're going to be symmetrical. How are those buildings also symmetrical? So talk about that. The last question on there is evaluate. So is there some connection to the forms of architecture and the forms of music in the classical period? This is a 2-part question. What might cause there to be similarities in music and artistic form? So my 8th graders know this, but music imitates art. Music imitates life, and art imitates life. And classical music imitated what was happening in that time period, and it imitated in building form too. So in the Baroque period, buildings were really fancy and they were exaggerated and lots of gold and fancy things. But then in the classical period, it became very simplified and clean lines and very similar. And classical music did the same thing. So classical music followed suit. The fact that buildings were very clean and simple and symmetrical, classical music did the same thing within the music. It cleaned things up. The lines of music was very simple to follow. And symmetrical being that at the beginning of the piece of music also happened, you heard the same thing kind of towards the end of the piece of music. So you're hearing very simple lines, very clean music, not a lot of thrills and frills and junk trying to make it sound fancier than what it was. It was very simple and easy to follow. So I hope some of that information can be taken back to formulate a response. But let me know if you're still struggling, and let me know if you need any help. But like I said, whatever you guys turn in is going to be fine.